Welcome back to Ride 360, the place where horsepower meets heart, and today we're talking about a machine that doesn't just ride, it arrives. The 2026 Yamaha VMAX 1700 is back in the spotlight, and if you know anything about the VMAX name, you already know this isn't your average motorcycle. This is muscle, attitude, and pure street presence rolled into one aggressive, low-slung beast that looks like it was built to intimidate traffic before it even starts moving. The first thing that hits you about the VMAX 1700 is the stance. It sits low, wide, and planted like a predator ready to launch. The massive air scoops on the sides aren't just for show, they give the bike that signature VMAX identity, like a sport bike and a power cruiser had a very serious, very powerful child. The tank design flows into the seat so smoothly that the whole body looks like one solid, muscular piece of machinery. From the front, those thick forks and bold headlights setup give it a tough, almost robotic expression, while the chunky rear tire tells you this bike is all about putting power to the ground. And speaking of power, oh man, this is where the VMAX earns its legend status. At the heart of this machine is that monstrous 1679cc V4 engine. This isn't a calm, polite motor. This is a deep-breathing, torque-punching powerhouse that feels like it's always just one twist away from going wild. The V4 layout gives it a unique character, smoother than you'd expect, but with a growl that sounds rich, heavy, and addictive. When you roll on the throttle, the response is instant and strong, like the bike is lunging forward with purpose instead of just accelerating. What makes it even crazier is how the power builds. Down low, you've got thick torque that makes city riding effortless. You barely need to rev it hard, and it still pulls like a train. But as the revs climb, the VMAX transforms. The intake sound deepens, the engine note sharpens, and suddenly you feel that surge that pins you back and reminds you this is one of the most iconic muscle bikes ever made. Overtaking, a joke. Just twist and go. The bike doesn't ask questions, it just delivers. But don't think this is only about straight line speed. The 2026 VMAX 1700 carries a strong chassis setup that keeps all that power under control. The aluminum frame is rigid and built to handle the engine's brutal output, giving you a stable, confident feel even when you open it up hard. On highways, the bike feels planted and solid, like it's carved into the road. At high speeds, there's very little drama, just smooth, relentless acceleration and a sense that the machine could keep going forever. The suspension setup strikes a balance between muscle bike stiffness and real-world comfort. Up front, the beefy forks soak up bumps while still giving you precise feedback. At the rear, the monoshock keeps the bike stable during hard acceleration, which is important because this V4 loves to unleash torque in big waves. You can cruise through the city without feeling beaten up, but when the road opens up, the VMAX tightens up and feels ready to attack. Now let's talk about braking, because with this much power, stopping matters just as much as going. The dual front disc brakes provide serious stopping force. The feel at the lever is strong and predictable, giving you confidence to slow this heavyweight machine down quickly. Whether you're rolling through traffic or coming down from highway speeds, the braking system feels solid and trustworthy. It matches the bike's performance personality, bold and capable. Comfort on the VMAX is surprisingly good for something that looks this aggressive. The seat is low and supportive, letting you sit in the bike rather than on top of it. The riding position leans slightly forward, but it's not extreme like a supersport. Your arms naturally reach the bars, and your legs sit comfortably on the pegs. This makes it possible to ride longer distances without feeling like your body is in a fight with the machine. It's powerful, yes, but it's also usable. The instrument cluster keeps things clean and functional. You get a mix of digital and analog style information, showing speed, RPM, fuel level, and trip data clearly. It's not overloaded with distractions. The VMAX has always been about raw riding emotion, and the display reflects that. Everything you need, nothing you don't. You glance down, get your info, and get back to focusing on the road and that glorious engine sound. One of the best parts of the VMAX 1700 experience is the way people react to it. This bike turns heads everywhere. Park it, and someone will walk over. Stop at a signal, and riders in cars and on other bikes will look twice. It has that rare presence that makes it feel special, not just another motorcycle in the lineup. The wide rear tire, the sculpted body, the exposed mechanical look, it all screams performance and attitude. On city streets, the VMAX feels like a powerful street cruiser with a sport bike heart. You sit low, you feel the engine's pulse beneath you, and every small throttle input reminds you there's serious power waiting. On open highways, it becomes a missile. The engine hums strong, the chassis stays stable, and the bike feels completely at home eating up long stretches of road. Fuel efficiency isn't the main story here, let's be honest. This bike is built for performance and excitement, not economy. But for riders who choose the VMAX, that's part of the deal. You're riding something iconic, something emotional. Every ride feels like an event, not just transportation. What really defines the 2026 Yamaha VMAX 1700 is how it blends old-school muscle bike spirit with modern engineering. It respects its roots, big engine, bold design, massive torque, while still offering the reliability and smoothness you expect from Yamaha. It's not trying to be the most high-tech or the lightest bike. It's trying to be unforgettable, and in that mission, it absolutely succeeds. This is the kind of bike you ride when you want to feel something strong. The deep engine note, the surge of acceleration, the heavy, confident feel, it all combines into a riding experience that feels powerful, mechanical, and real. It doesn't hide its personality behind electronics and modes. It shows you exactly what it is, and if you respect it, it rewards you with one of the most thrilling rides in the motorcycle world. So if you're the kind of rider who loves bold machines, who wants torque that hits hard, who wants a bike that looks as strong as it feels, the Yamaha VMAX 1700 stands in a class of its own. It's not just about speed. It's about presence, character, and that feeling in your chest when you twist the throttle and the world starts rushing toward you. That's the magic of the VMAX, raw power, iconic design, and a riding experience that stays in your mind long after the engine shuts off.